Hi there, it is I, Rain. Welcome to the last episode of the Upgrade Your Vroid series, I think it's called, or something. I don't remember. I'm gonna do my best to show you my preparation and conversion of this model back into a VRM format, which is usually used, as far as I know, for virtual tubing or virtual streaming, or that kind of thing. Hope it's useful. Let's get into it, shall we? Alrighty then. One thing I want to mention is, first, save a copy, of course. This time we are going to be editing this in a way that you'll definitely want to go back to if you make any adjustments to your model, especially if this is going to be your main model for a while. You definitely want a copy of this version. The only thing on top of that I would say is, with VRM, you do have the option to add some additional shape keys that refer to the pupil movements, like up, down, left, and right. It's as simple as adding a new shape key in Blender, like how I showed you before. If you haven't watched that episode, now's the time. And going into edit mode, grabbing the pupil and moving them up, down, left, or right, whichever needed. However, that is not really necessary for the majority of VRM software. You don't really need to add those shape keys, but if you want to, it's not hard how to do it. So I'm not actually going to go through it, especially since Vroid doesn't really do it either, so I don't really see the point in it. What I am going to do is go over some advices for you. I have no idea what I'm saying today, so please bear with me. I am rather confused, and this is my 5th time recording this. So as usual, always make sure you do your checks. Grab the hips, move them around, make sure nothing is not moving with your model. Check the bones. Go to the face, go to object data properties, make sure your shape keys are working and you're happy with everything. Of course, save that copy like I advise you to, and we can get into prepping this for Unity, because we're gonna have to put this into Unity. If you remember when we were with the pose, when we were rigging this model, we did encounter a small clipping issue with the chest in certain situations. Now this can be weight painted to be fixed, or you can do what I'm going to advise you to right now and cut away some of this mesh. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go into edit mode and we're going to delete some of this mesh. Now you do want to keep a close eye on these lines. You want to be able to look under this top and still see that there's a body under it, but you don't need any of this topology here. It's not going to be seen. You can get rid of it. So what I'm going to do is just go to numpad 3, side view, and just select. I'm using my left click here, selecting this kind of deal over here and here. I'm gonna hit X and delete faces right now. You can always delete more. Let's just go little by little at a time. So you can go back to object mode now. We can go to pose mode and mess with this and see that there's a lot less clipping, except for here and above. So yeah, I delete more. Symbol of stop pose mode, body, edit mode. Can select these edges, these ones, X delete vertices, Now you just want to be careful that you don't have these things going on here. So I'm actually going to go back and do this kind of thing instead. Isolate vertices, which I'm fine with that. And then pad 1. I'm going to get rid of these. Delete vertices, delete vertices, and this here too. Alright, for the body, I just deleted about this much, and you can hardly tell when you look from angles like these. Now, if it was the case that there wasn't these see-through holes here and there wasn't any of these here, I would actually delete a lot more. I'd get rid of all of this and all the way down to the bottom of the sleeve too, because it's not going to be seen. But since these holes are here, a lot of it is going to be seen, so I'm going to leave it be. What you also want to check is the twisting. So we'll just go to pose mode, grab these bones, rotate, RZ. Now, don't twist it a crazy lot, because remember, this is still a person. And for me, this twisting isn't too bad, so I'm going to leave it be. This little bit of clipping is a little unfortunate, but it's not really a deal breaker. So this is good for me. Now we've got that, we're going to have to reduce these parts a little bit. I'm going to put all the hair parts together. So we've got hair base, hair bands. I'm going to just control click, hair, fringe, and is anything else that we need? Should be fine. I'm going to actually control click on the hair and then control J. So now that layer is called hair. The face I'm going to turn off, and the rest of these I'm actually going to join. So control clicking on all of these. And also, if you did watch the previous episodes, we did go through all of these and make sure all the modifiers are applied, except for armature, because that doesn't count. So all of these should be fine. So again, just control clicking all the way up till we reach the body, and then control J to join. Oh, we missed the collar. Control J. Now, there's nothing wrong with leaving these as is. You can leave the hair, face and body separate, because that's what Vroid does. Or you could join them all and have it as that. Because I usually work with everything joined together, I'm going to do that. So again, no harm in testing if everything still works, and then joining. Control J. Now they all should be called body if you selected, if you control and clicked on the body last. Should all work. This should also be the last thing you do to your model. You need to make sure everything is good and the way you want it and you're happy with it. Okay, so now you have this. We want to go into materials and look at all of these. I would go in and make sure these are named to something that you can understand and you know what it is. So let's go to shading, and we can probably have a guess at what all these are. Yes, it'll be easy to just click on the preview. So make sure you have this preview open and you can click on it. So this is more hair, this is hair. I'm just gonna rename this to Miku hair. Eyes extra. I think this is the eyelashes. Skin. This looks like it's the face, so I'm gonna name that face. Eye highlight. Iris, I believe. Now, I do advise you to name these after your character in particular. So instead of just hair, I'd put Miku, then whatever it is. Because if you start making multiple characters, you could actually confuse Unity, and they might use one of these materials on another character because they're called the same thing. Now we have this mess. Let's go back to layout and deal with this. Now this doesn't look like there's anything applied to it, so I'm actually just going to delete this by clicking the remove. And I've deleted it and nothing seems weird. I think it was that extra eyelash material that we deleted. Now this old tie material, is going to delete that too. And nothing changed because nothing's using that material. Now we have all of that. Another thing you can do is make all of these materials into one. You'll have a lot of materials. Now this is not the most ideal, but it won't break your model. It will just make things take a minute or two longer, maybe even less than that. It's not a big deal. If you do want to have something more optimized, Cat's Blender plugin does have this Atlas maker that will basically just put all of your materials on a big PNG, and this model will be automatically set up to take bits from this material here and there, and you'll basically just convert, I don't know how many of these are, 10, 12 materials into 2 or 3, but we're going to leave it as is. It's very workable, and I'm sure you probably want this tutorial to finish more sooner than later. We also want to make sure we have all of the materials. Now, if you're like me, you've saved a lot of the materials in a folder, and you don't really need to worry about these materials. But if you haven't done that, now's the time to go through. Now you can go to texture paint, and you can go through all of these and just grab all of these materials and save as them and throw them in a folder. I'll just do image, save as, then you can go to the next one, image, save as. Now all your materials are saved. I hope you've named them something appropriate and that you can find very easily. You're also going to need a picture for the face, so feel free to just take off the armature, take a screenshot, or you can, grab yourself a camera and do a proper Blender render. You don't actually need a picture, but it's nice to have one. Now we have this, we're going to first save. Let's turn the armature on. Let's go to File, Export, and FBX. Now, just make sure you save it in the folder with all your other materials. Now that's all done, we are actually going to head over to Unity. We are going to a slightly different setup right now. I'm re-recording this, and this model is already set up to be converted into a VRM, but I want to go over some things. One, my friend has made a video that I would like to refer you over to so you can learn how to do all this stuff properly. 2, you're going to need UniVRM and also a compatible version of Unity to use it with. 2020 is pretty safe for the recent version of UniVRM. I'm currently using the recent version. I've already downloaded it. Before you watch the video, I want to show you a few things. Making a new folder. Just click on Assets. Create. Let me bring this down actually so you might be able to see better. Create, and then folder, and then you just name it whatever, and inside that folder you'll have a setup like this. So you'll have a folder for your textures, so make that, and then you want to make another folder for your VRM. That's going to be your first VRM, so make a folder for that. These material folders will be made automatically when you import your model how I import it. Finally, you'll have your VRM, which you'll also just click and drag in. And when you import it, some important things you need to know, which my friend does go over, is making sure legacy blend shape normals is checked, and also he does say something about normals mode, but I usually just leave it alone and it turns out fine for me. Might be different for you, just keep that in mind. Also, don't forget to apply it. When I have the materials, I use external materials instead of embedded materials. This is just what I'm used to, and doing that and applying that is what creates the materials folder for me. So going into the materials folder, we'll be able to see this whole setup. If you have installed UniVRM properly, you should be able to just go to the VRM and change your shader to M-Tune, for example, if you want it to be affected by the light, or cutout if you have cutouts like this and you don't want it to be affected by the light. So it'll just be a flat texture regardless of the light. Depends on you, really. Cutout is going to be way faster to set up because you also need to change the rendering type to cutout on VRM Tune. That being said, you can easily just go into the body over here on your model. Just make sure to click the arrow, and you can lock this and you can sort everything out, all the materials in this page alone, which is also good to have. Just make sure these are both set to white unless you want it to be otherwise, and that's about it. You could add outlines if you really want to by just setting it to world's coordinates and messing with the width and such. That being said, my friend does explain everything else. What I am going to do is come over here and unlock this actually. This is a VRM. This is the first VRM export, which is exported to this folder in here, which I advise you to do too, because you can literally just click and drag it from here, and it doesn't take that long to do. We can also come down here and go to blend shapes. If we just click on that, it'll show you where it is in the folder. Click on that. We'll see we have all these blend shapes and an extra one. Now this, I can't remember if my friend went through it or not, but to create a new one, you literally just click create, write in whatever, and you're good to go. It's literally just a matter of messing with these sliders. So if you have surprise on your avatar, make a new one. It's not difficult. Now, the more complicated thing is this whole collider and springbone setup. How I do my colliders is I always add a child bone to the parent bone of the collider. So, for example, the chest. We have all of these children of the chest, and then we've got a chest collider on top of that. So I don't add colliders to the chest itself. That's so I can just grab it and move it around with transform if I need to, and I don't need to worry about messing up the chest bone position. So this is useful. There's a lot of setups that I have for these shapes, but I hope you can see it. It's these pink circles around here. I can go over some of them so you could look at the values and see if you like it or not. So we've got the chest collider. We have the shoulder, which is just 2. The arm, which I've set to 3. Elbow, also 3. And wrist. I don't have one for the fingers because I just didn't want to do that. The thing is, with collider groups, you need to have circles all the way down the arm, or in that, just the whole bone needs to be covered with them, and appropriately too. So don't go making like huge circles out here, it won't make sense. So everything on the left is just copied to the right, but here's the thing, I make the collide first, and then I copy the values over, and then I change the X values from negatives to positives. So making something for the right arm, I'd literally just go to the right arm, right click on it, create empty, name it what I need to, and then add the collider to that. Next we have the spring bones, which are all here. This is all the setup. We've got the fringe and the side hairs, which is just these, and also this bit on the top, and that's got a head collider because I don't want it to go through the head, so there's a collider there. The ribbons, the leg ribbons, the tie, the skirt are all on the same. This just has a chest collider, and I didn't put any colliders on these ribbons because I didn't think it was necessary considering the minimum movement of it. And these are also the settings for that. The boobs are on their own, and the ponytails are on their own, and they also have the arm colliders here because I don't want the hair to go through the arms. So if I just hit play, you'll see that my setup is different for each part of everything. The hair circles are quite large, so when it interacts with the arms, oops, wrong one. I'm just pressing play here, by the way, just hitting play and making sure I have my VRM selected because this is the first export of the VRM. I can put the hair over the shoulders and it will collide with them. It'll slide over with no problem. And it shouldn't really go through the arms too easily, though there's probably some way for it to. Alright. So that's the most important thing for the dynamic bones and colliders. If you don't know what to put where, then literally just copy my numbers down. It'll work fine. But also you need to keep in mind that different parts of moving bones will probably need to move differently. So the hair moves way differently than the boobs do, for example. Just make sure you've got your model in a T-pose, otherwise it will not work properly. So do that. When you've finished messing with everything, double make sure that all your blend shapes are fine and you don't get any errors. And just export it VRM 0 and then export uni VRM blah blah. Put it in whatever folder you like. I personally have a folder with all the avatars that are VRMs, like the final versions, outside of Unity, because at that point there's no point exporting it to Unity. I just have a separate folder. And you can bring that into whatever software you need and set it up for that. Would you look at that? Hi everyone. It's all done now. Look, I'm not really used to using VC Face. So having these emotions just like pop up whenever they want is very weird to me. I usually set up my models for that, which takes a very long time. I'd also consider, like, to be honest, I think I would have added that hold bone to this model. I think I would have added that. So these eyes don't like whiz around so much, you know? They're very movie, these pupils are. So adding that hold bone would reduce that a lot and would keep them more in my head instead of whizzing around so much. But yeah, these are all the emotes that we have. Neutral, fun, I think, angry, joy, I think, sad, sorrow, and wait, I need to add surprised. Okay, so surprise. Another thing that I did mention about using the up, down, left, right for the pupils, I've not done that before. I usually always use the bones. So I don't know, just mess with it, see what you can find. If you're happy with this version of the model, then great, look, you've got a new model, and hopefully it looks more unique than it did originally. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked it. What else? What else? Let's invite a friend to this. Let's invite a friend to this party, shall we? There's a lot of things that are different. Can I? Yeah, we can use the numpad for different things. I didn't even know what face that is. But yeah, you can see the my brain's not working anymore. I just wanted to show you all the models, okay? I just wanted to show you like and subscribe or something. I don't know, okay? I don't know what to say anymore. We're done. We're done. Get out. Get out.